The Chicago Bears, don't you tease me. Let's not sleep on the number one draft pick from last year. This is a long-suffering town when it comes to Chicago Bears football. Maybe, just maybe, we have something to look forward to in this town. The Chicago Bears getting redemption. Nothing is ever going to completely erase that, but last night is about as good as we could hope. But oh my God, we've actually got a quarterback. The Chicago Bears, don't you tease me. Ben Johnson, don't you tease me like this. Caleb Williams, don't you tease me like this. This is a long-suffering town when it comes to Chicago Bears football. It's been a long time since the 06 Bears made it to the Super Bowl. We've only had one playoff win since that Super Bowl season when we lost to Peyton Manning in the Indianapolis Colts. One fucking playoff win. And what's that been now? 18 and a half years? Something like that since that Super Bowl. It was in January of 07, so do the math. Coming up on 19 years. Maybe, just maybe, we have something to look forward to in this town. The Chicago Bears getting redemption last night against the Washington Commanders on the road. Last year, of course, the Fail Mary game. The game that Tyreek Stevenson, you're going to wear it forever. Just like Amari DiMercato in Arizona. You were paying more attention to the fans, paying more attention to jawing with the home crowd. So much so, in fact, that you didn't know that the ball had been snapped. You weren't ready. You ran over, got a hand on it, and you gift wrapped a win for Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. Nothing is ever going to completely erase that, but last night is about as good as we could hope for. The Bears going back and winning 25-24 on a last-second 38-yard field goal by Jake Moody, who was making his Chicago Bears debut due to an injury to the Bears' regular kicker, Cairo Santos. 3 in a row, baby. The Chicago Bears now stand at 3-2 in the best division in football, the proud NFC North. And Ben Johnson looks like maybe, just maybe, he might be the coach that we've been looking for in this town since Lovie Smith, certainly, but really since Mike Ditka. Caleb Williams, take a look at these stats. First Chicago Bears quarterback to ever begin a season with 5 200-yard passing games that all included at least one touchdown pass. The bar for great quarterback play in Chicago has been abysmally low, really, for almost the entirety of the franchise. There have been some bright spots. Sid Luckman, anybody out there 111 years old that wants to wax nostalgic about Sid Luckman's heyday? Is your great-great-grandfather still alive? Does he have an opinion about that? Bobby Douglas was a pretty good running quarterback for a couple of minutes years ago. Jim McMahon, the punky QB, was the guy that led us to the promised land in Super Bowl 20. And really, since Jim McMahon, it has been rough sledding in Chicago at the quarterback position. Eric Kramer was pretty good for about 15 minutes. Hell, when we got Jay Cutler in 2009, you could have stopped the presses in this town. We thought that we were getting Joe Montana, Dan Marino, and John Elway all rolled into one. That's how thirsty we were for a quarterback who could air it out. We all looked at Jay Cutler and thought, oh my God, we've actually got a quarterback that can go downfield, that can throw the ball. And Jay Cutler today, as I said here before you, is the Bears' all-time leader in both touchdown passes and passing yards. That's the good news. But because we're the Bears, not as impressive as it might sound. Jay Cutler went 51-51 as a starter in this town in his 8 years with the Bears. Won one playoff game. That's our best guy. That's the career leader. That's the guy that we were excited about. We got 500 football and one playoff win in 8 years out of the guy. I think we're going to do better with Caleb Williams. Take a look at Ben Johnson's reaction last night as Moody punched it through to give the Bears the victory. And if you can zoom in, which is tough to do here, I just love it. He looks like a winner. And I know that you can't always judge a book by its cover. But generally speaking, derpy coaches don't inspire a lot of confidence. And we've had some derps in this town over the last decade and a half. Ben Johnson looks like a winner. I look at him, he inspires confidence. I want to talk to you a little bit about the coaching carousel that we've had in this city since Lovie Smith was gone. And Lovie wasn't appreciated. There was a lot of Lovie Smith slander, I'm going to tell you that. Going back to the day, people were always jawing about Lovie. That's how it always is in any town that loves sports. If you're not winning, if you're not having fabulous success, those criticisms are going to come. We were talking about it on the show yesterday. James Franklin. Yeah, I understand why he got fired by Penn State. On the other hand, he's the guy who basically rebuilt your program after a complete unmitigated fucking disaster happened to it. And there's no guarantee that the next guy is going to be as good as James Franklin. The Bears have spent 15 years trying to find somebody better than Lovie Smith. I think most people in this town assume that it wouldn't be that hard. He's just Lovie Smith. He's just fucking Lovie Smith. All respect to him, but he's not going down in the all-time list of great coaches. And so there were a lot of people in this town who thought, of course we'll be able to do better than Lovie Smith. That won't be a big problem at all. Guess what? Turned out to be a pretty big fucking problem. Let me remind you, Mark Trestman, the quarterback whisperer, 13-19 in 2 years. Then we brought in John Fox. What does the Fox say? Well, the Fox said 14-34 in 3 years. Excited about him because he had been to a Super Bowl. It's like, hey, John Fox, all right. No, 14-34, worse than Trestman. Matt Nagy, you know what? I dumped on Matt Nagy the 4 years that he was here, but 34-31, and actually got us to the playoffs twice. Didn't win either time, but 2 playoff appearances. It's better than the other 2 guys did, and he's the only guy with a 500-plus record since Lovie Smith, 34-31. Matt Nagy, I kind of owe you an apology. You were better than I gave you credit for. Matt Eberflus, 14-32 during his 3 years here. Thomas Brown, interim coach for a couple of minutes, 1-4. That's what we've been working with here. And at the quarterback position, as I said, struggles all throughout, going way back even before that. Hell, we didn't have a good quarterback when we did go to the Super Bowl. Rex Grossman, that was probably the weakest position that we had, offensively or defensively. It's a fucking wonder that we made it. It's a testimony to the defense that drove Dennis Green insane that year. Remember when they were who he thought we were? Yeah, that was the defense. Rex Grossman trying to game manage you to a Super Bowl while throwing, 20 interceptions. That ain't it. Caleb Williams, I want to say this about Caleb Williams. This is the best Caleb Williams stat to me. And again, Jaden Daniels is great. I'm not going to get into a who's better, Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, okay? We've established that Jaden Daniels is one of the most exciting young talents to come into the NFL at the quarterback position in a long time. I got nothing but good things to say about Jaden Daniels. And he's certainly off to a better start in his career than Caleb Williams overall. However, let's not sleep on the number 1 draft pick from last year. Caleb Williams has now started 22 games for the Chicago Bears. He has 29 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions. 8 interceptions in 22 starts. Ron, is that good?
It's better than Justin Fields.
It's better than Justin Fields. It's actually a 1.1% interception rate that he has. That means 1.1 interceptions out of every 100 times he's let go of the ball as a Chicago Bear. And guess what? The all-time leader in the history of the league is Aaron Rodgers at 1.4%. Rodgers is the stingiest turnover quarterback, at least turnovers through the air, that has ever played in the National Football League. Caleb Williams, thus far in his young career, playing for a bad Bears team last year. He led the NFL in getting sacked. What did he get sacked? 68 times, I believe, last year. He had no time to do anything. He still only got picked off 6 times last season. And right now, his rate is even better than Aaron Rodgers. So if you want to look for a promising Caleb Williams statistic, it is that. This kid has not turned the ball over even when facing tremendous adversity last season. Now, let's talk about the unlikely hero last night for the Chicago Bears, newly acquired kicker Jake Moody. And in fact, let's go to the tape right here and take a look at this.
Yeah, I mean, it feels amazing, obviously. Hitting a game winner is always a good time. Doing it for a new team in my first game, it's huge. Shout out to the O-line, shout out to Scott and Tori. They've been making my job real easy out here, and the transition has been really smooth. So glad to be a part of a team like this, and we're going to keep moving forward.
Good weekend for debuting kickers. Havrasik with 5 field goals for the Packers. He was thinking that he was going to be telling a room full of kids to pipe down as a substitute teacher. Instead, he's booting field goals in the NFL. Jake Moody, however, has a pretty good resume. He is the 2-time Big Ten Kicker of the Year, won the Lou Groza Award in 2021 as the top collegiate kicker. And Ronnie, he's Michigan's all-time scoring leader. Did you know that? There's a little bit of trivia about your most hated
No one cares.
university there. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the San Francisco 49ers in 2023. Hell, he kicked a 55-yard field goal in Super Bowl 58, but after beginning this season with a 1-of-3 outing for the San Francisco 49ers, including a 27-yard miss and a 36-yarder that got blocked, they cut bait on him. The Bears, with Cairo Santos out, got his agent on the phone, brought him in, and there he is giving an interview about how good it feels, although you got to believe that he's going to be gone in about 15 minutes when Santos comes back. I got to feel at this point that Caleb Williams, look, I can't, you know what? Fuck it, I can. He's better than Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler was one of those guys, too many interceptions, too many wild throws. He was like the Temu version of Brett Favre. Okay? You're not Brett Favre. Brett Favre can throw into triple coverage. At least he could get away with it at times. Jay Cutler was great value Brett Favre in regard with the decisions that he made with the football. I'm going to say right now, Caleb Williams, best Chicago Bears quarterback since Jim McMahon. 22 games. I'm gonna place him ahead of Cutler, the all-time leader in touchdowns and in passing yardage. I don't think Caleb Williams would do this, however. There's the punky QB. Which NFL starting quarterback has won the most games in a row? Jim McMahon. 25, baby. And he then washed it down with the 24 beers that he's bringing into the party with his collar popped and his shades on. Caleb's probably out getting his nails done today to celebrate the victory last night. But you know what? If you get it done on the field, I don't really care. You can be a cool motherfucker like Jim McMahon, or you can be a weird motherfucker like Caleb Williams apparently is. But you show up on Sunday and you play the way Caleb Williams has been playing, you're my guy. And I think with Ben Johnson here, remember, we had Lomas Brown on the program last week, the great left tackle, multi-time Pro Bowler for the Detroit Lions, I think 7-time Pro Bowler. Lomas calls Ben Johnson the savant, and he certainly got to see him up close when he was the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. So, Chicago Bears, don't you mess with my feelings like this. You got me believing in you like I haven't believed in you in over a decade. Don't make me look stupid the rest of this season. All right, let's switch gears. This is a tweet that I put out on Super 70s just, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. I tweeted out a picture of Dennis Eckersley and Kirk Gibson together. Old Dennis Eckersley and old Kirk Gibson, there they are, many, many years after the 1988 World Series. And I asked the Super 70s audience, name 2 athletes that are forever connected in history, that their names are just going to come up together. And here are some of the replies that you guys gave. Nolan Ryan and Robin Ventura. Absolutely. You will never be able to say the name Robin Ventura and somebody doesn't bring up Nolan Ryan. Fuck around and find out. Robin Ventura seems like a very nice guy. And he did what he felt he had to do. He probably did not relish the idea of charging the mound, and he really didn't relish it after Nolan Ryan played whack-a-mole with him. Here's another one for you. Gale Sears and Brian Piccolo. The tragic story, Brian Piccolo passing away in his 20s, portrayed by James Caan in the movie, Billy D. Williams playing Gale Sears. Certainly a connection here in the city of Chicago that is very well remembered. How about Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso? That fucking punk. Cheater. Can't go kick a man in the face at the All Valley Karate Championship. You can go to the Super 70 Sports Store.com, however, and pick up an All Valley Karate t-shirt, Ronnie.
You certainly can.
Let everybody know that. Ali Frazier, of course, that I mentioned at the top of the program. And I see the next one peeping up here. How about Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire? If you're old enough to remember the home run race of 1998, and if you're watching this program, there's a better than average chance that you are. Certainly those two guys, man, what a duel it was. Tainted in retrospect.
You said
just
taint.
like a massage session with Deshaun Watson gone wrong. We look at it now and we think about the steroids, but when we didn't know, when we thought that they had just hulked up and we were all pretending that it was just prayers and vitamins like Hulk Hogan, God, we were loving that. Man, back and forth they went all down the stretch. I remember where I was when I heard that McGwire had hit 62, which at the time was everything. 61 was a magic number my entire life up until that point. And 62 was probably the most unimpressive home run he hit the entire season, if you remember it. It was just like, derp, right down the left field line. Looked like me trying to squeeze one out of there. Who else do we have here connected in history? These are some really good ones up until this point. I'll add Jack Nicklaus and Tom Watson to that. How about John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg? There's another one that I would add. Let me go ahead and continue this conversation by welcoming to the program the international streaming star. I speak, of course, of 1984 men's pommel horse bronze medalist Ronnie T-Shirts, who joins the program from Nashville, Tennessee. Ronnie, it was an inspirational performance. You brought a lot of glory to the Soviet Union that day.
I don't think I could do one rotation on a pommel horse. Like maybe if you'd have said shot putter or something like that, that would have made sense.
That's what made it so incredible.
How did we just go through like 15 combinations and nobody said magic and bird?
Oh.
I mean, isn't that the one?
I hope if we kept scrolling, it was going to be there.
The one.
Yeah,
it's the one.
It's kind of the one of the 1980s, right?
Yeah. Brady Manning.
I don't know what else would compare with it.
We got Brady Manning.
Brady and Manning is another one. Yeah.
I got one for you. It's
Absolutely.
it's not athletes, but it's athletic. And this is just one. This is for me. This one's for me is Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler. Like the two of them, they 100% go together.
That's a good one. Bobby Thompson and Ralph Branca. Shot heard round the world, 1951. Giants win the pennant. Anytime there's a milestone home run or whatever, even when I think of Hank Aaron's 715, I always remember it was Al Downing, the left-hander of the Los Angeles Dodgers, who's going to be remembered for that. So there are those connections in history that you're always going to remember, that they're always going to be there with you. And that's kind of one of the beautiful things about sports, Ron. Let's switch gears here and let's get to a topic that's near and dear to your heart. And in this case, it's a topic that is definitely at the top of the priority list for the young man who is producing our program today, young Jared. James Franklin, as we said yesterday on the program, talked about it at great length, out as the head coach at Penn State and, interim coach right now, but obviously people are thinking ahead already. Who might be the next coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions heading into 2026 and beyond? And one person whose name is attached to some rumors is Nebraska head coach Matt Rhule. And here's what he had to say on the matter.
I love Penn State. Met my wife there. It's my alma mater. Fan since I was born. I think probably had a Penn State shirt when I was born. I love Pat Kraft. And really sad to see Coach Franklin go. When you think about what he did for my alma mater, the program was in peril, right? I mean, the players, if people remember, like the historic sanctions, you could transfer out, you could do whatever you want. Bill O'Brien comes in, stabilizes it for 2 years. James takes over a program in disarray and gives stability, excellence, and to see videos of people like yelling at his kids, and I just don't understand why in our country now coaches are villains. Do you know how hard I worked in Carolina and the things that were said to me, or how hard I work here and some of the things that are said, our coaches work here, how hard Sat worked last year.
Coaches and umpires probably get more shit than anybody, but coaches are compensated a hell of a lot better than officials. And I guess that is the trade-off for it. But Matt Rhule, look, I'm not the master of reading between the lines, but I don't think you have to be to tell that it looks like to me, Matt Rhule seems like he's happy at Nebraska. I don't doubt any of that. He's got the Cornhuskers 5-1 right now. He's in the process of doing good things with that program. But it sure seems to me, Ron, that he would love to coach at Penn State.
I didn't hear him say that he wasn't interested in the job. Did you? All I heard him say was that he loves Penn State. He loves the athletic director. He met his wife there. Hey, and I'm trying to build something big here in Nebraska, and I'm doing that. And I'm just worried about our next game. That's exactly what he should say. But you know what he didn't say? Stop asking me. There is no chance in hell I'm going to take the Penn State job. Do not ask me again. He didn't say that, Ricky. He could easily be the next Penn State coach.
Sounds like it's his dream job to me.
Why wouldn't it be?
Just based on the way that he answered that question. So,
it should be, and he should.
Well,
dude,
it's a mercenary profession that he's in. They're going to fire you if you don't go sooner or later, right? So, I mean, I don't blame the guy. I'd go to Penn State too if I were him. Listen,
man, you went to Western Kentucky as an almost actually as an adult, right? You didn't go there as a kid. You went there as an adult. So you've got there's nothing wrong with that, Ricky. It's just you have a different feel.
You make it sound like I was, fucking Thornton Mellon.
No,
Ron.
no, you just
I did
weren't
the triple Lindy down at Western
you were not
Kentucky.
a punk. No, you just weren't a little punk 18-year-old kid like I was when I went to Ohio State, like Jared was when he went to Penn State. And there is something about those 4 years from 18 to 22. Man, it sticks with you forever. I think about it. I think about college every day. It's so bizarre. I talk to Tyler about this all the time. How can this little 4-year stretch have so much impact on my life that I think and I talk about it every day? It's crazy. And if Ohio State wanted me to do anything, I would do it. It would be that
blow
fast.
A goat.
I just
blow
say yes.
A goat, Ron.
If it was in the
Ryan
best,
Day called you up and said, blow a goat, and we can sign this 5-star cornerback.
If it would help, yes.
Texas.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Man, you are truly a team player here.
No, I just like
Steve
blowing
Sarkisian,
goats.
looking for any excuse you can get. It's all about the school. It's all about the school. That's what it is. Steve Sarkisian of Texas Longhorns, God, Ron, is talking about the fine line here, because the thing is, you talked about it. They had Oregon on the ropes, almost pulled off the huge road win before Indiana went in there and got the job done. But they almost pulled off a huge road win. I don't think Oregon had been beaten home in like 3 years or something until Indiana got them. And then 3 weeks later, you're fucking fired. Steve Sarkisian talking about the fine line that you walk as a head coach in college football.
A year ago, they're a Final Four team, and they're in a dogfight to go play for a national championship. 3 weeks ago, 15 days ago, they're a play away from being a top 2 team, arguably the number 1 team in the country, and today he's no longer the head coach. So that should just tell you about the business that we're in and understanding the business aspect of it. I hate it for him. I hate it for those players. But that's just the reality of the situation that we're in right now. But he's a good coach. Somebody's going to hire that guy. He's.
Hey, listen, you can fire me and hire me, and I'll just travel all around this great land for the kind of money that these head coaches are making. Look, I'm not discounting that they've got lives, they've got children, they've got kids in school, many of them. And, they're like anybody else other than the fact that they have a high-profile job. You don't want to just have to up and go somewhere else necessarily, but such is the profession. Now, as I said, the financial rewards of the profession are immense if you get to the level of a Sarkisian or a James Franklin or, a Matt Rhule for that matter. But here's a little wrinkle, Ronnie. Franklin is required to look for another job either in coaching or broadcasting. According to Front Office Sports, who obtained a copy of his contract, if his new job pays him less than $8 million that he's owed every year through 2031 by Penn State will only owe him the difference, Ron. So
I think this is a pretty common. This is a pretty common contract.
This means ultimately, but this is kind of the way that it just is, right?
Yeah, it's a common contract.
What if the next? So can the next school just offer him like below market value, knowing that Penn State's on the hook for the rest of it?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any kind of morality or not morality, an ethics clause in there for that. But it's last year, Russell Wilson got paid $1 million by the Steelers to be their starter because he was making all his money from the Broncos. And so this is a pretty common thing in sports. I don't know how you legislate you're looking for a job. I mean, is it like like if you want unemployment benefits, you have to go, you have to go down to
come and check on you.
Yeah, go down and check on it.
You have to prove it.
Yeah.
It's like I put in an application with Ball State.
Is there a better job? Is there a better job than fired football coach? Oh my God.
No.
Imagine making all that money and not having to wake up in the morning. Wow, that would be amazing.
Well, I mean, I hope he wakes up in the morning. That'd be
he wakes up in the afternoon.
Outcome.
No, you wake up in the afternoon.
Right. Well, that's that's a good lifestyle. Just become a beach bum, become a parrot head, and listen to that Jimmy Buffett music that you love so much, Ron. Now that he's unemployed, maybe he could take a Hawaiian vacation. Ron, get out there, maybe even bump into Greg Brady hanging 10. Remember that episode, Ronnie? He was fucking dominant on the waves. It's a shame that cursed tiki robbed us of seeing his prime. It's like Bo Jackson. We'll never know how good Greg Brady could have been. We only saw glimpses before the cursed tiki got him. You know, when he spilled out and they aired it in the show, when I had Barry Williams on my old podcast, I asked him about this, and he told me that he really did crash out, whatever surfers call it, and they used that footage during the show. You know, he didn't take a dive. That was really Greg Brady going down.
So he was Tom Cruise before Tom Cruise doing all his own stunts.
That's right. Barry Williams out there Mission Impossibling it, along with Alice and Mike and Carol and the whole clan. Really, Ron. Well, look, we've talked enough about football and we've talked enough about other athletes. It's time for us to get on to the really important stuff in life, my friends, because it's time for America's Poll of the Day, and let's go to it now. It's Super 70 Sports on X, where the eagle flies higher than James Franklin's annual salary that he's owed through 2031. That's a long fucking contract that he signed. That guy. That was a multi-fucking-year deal. What year did he sign that contract, Jared? What was the length of the deal? 21. So a 10-year deal. And he's gone before he's even halfway through it. A lot of kids were gone back in the day, Ronnie, before they got halfway through the grand prize game on the Bozo Show on WGN. I'll tell you that. We're going to talk about it shortly. Steve Largent is the next option today. At one time, he led the NFL in receptions. He's now down somewhere around number 31 on the list because after he retired, they outlawed pass defense in the league. Third, we've got Arby's Curly Fries. And lastly, Jeff Lynne's Electric Light Orchestra, more commonly known as simply ELO. Break it down for me, Ronnie, as only you can.
All right, Ricky, I Googled Bozo's grand prize game because I had no idea what that was, and I still don't really have any idea what it was. Something about throwing ping pong balls in a bucket, but I'm just not familiar with it. Steve Largent.
You never saw the grand prize game. You didn't get WGN in Leningrad? You guys didn't have it there back then?
I don't. I mean, I'm
that's
sure.
Why you like the goat. That's why you want to blow goats. By the way, you probably had like 7 goats in your front yard growing up in the Soviet Union, didn't you? Your family just had goats everywhere. There's a goat on the fucking roof.
Goats serve a lot of purposes.
It's like Kazakhstan.
Yeah,
you were like Borat before you came to America.
I have no. I mean, I've heard of Bozo the Clown, but I had just never heard of what that was. At first I thought, well, is this another, duck hunt situation where, like it was a video game that I just don't know about?
It's a duck hunt situation in the broader scheme of things.
Yeah. So, Steve Largent was one of my favorite wide receivers when I was a kid. So love him. He went to Tulsa. So Tulsa's produced some good wide receivers. That's where Drew Pearson went too. Who would have thought? Arby's Curly Fries. Is it the best? Is it my favorite fry? I mean, I think curly fries are my favorite fry, especially when they're seasoned like that. So that's a huge one. ELO, dude. There's something about you putting these 70s bands in the poll of the day that's enlightening me and helping me remember things. So I of course knew about ELO. I couldn't, if you would have asked me name a song, I couldn't have done it. So I went to Spotify, greatest hits. Dude, they have
Banger
some
after banger
yeah.
after banger.
I mean, we got Sweet Talking
Don't
Woman,
Bring Me Down.
Turn to Stone,
Yeah.
Don't Bring Me Down, Telephone Line, Evil Woman, Blue Sky. Okay, so here's what
Living
here,
Thing is my
right.
favorite.
Which one?
Living Thing.
Okay.
It's a living thing. Do-do-do-do-do-do. It's a terrible thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah,
here's my take.
Taking a dive.
So here's my take on ELO. Tell me what you think about this. First of all, there's some bands out there like or performers, Van Halen, Phil Collins, like all their music kind of sounds the same. And like when you hear it, you know who it is. Well, when I was just listening to these songs on Spotify, they were all over the place. Like there wasn't a specific sound, but it feels like, and tell me if I'm wrong here, feels like there's a period where they sound a lot like the Beatles. Like some of these songs sound like they could have been Beatles songs.
Well, Jeff Lynne was a huge Beatles fan, and I think Jeff Lynne actually produced when they had the Beatles anthology, the one back from like 95, and they released Free as a Bird and I think Real Love were the two where they took John Lennon's old unfinished tapes and then the other three went in and played on them so that you had two different tracks that included all four of the Beatles. They found a way to bring John back in a sense, and I believe Jeff Lynne produced those records.
Yeah, like I think
and he was in the Traveling Wilburys with George Harrison as well.
Yeah, I think Telephone Line and Blue Sky were the two that stood out to me. So go back and listen to those later.
It's Mr. Blue Sky to you, sir.
Did it? I thought I just wrote down what I saw on Spotify. But anyway, I just thought they sounded a lot like the Beatles.
Definitely some influence there. Jeff Lynne is the most underrated of the Wilburys. He doesn't get a lot of love. He gets treated like the other Wilbury, but I don't know. I might have to put him ahead of Roy Orbison.
So all that being said, even though I didn't realize when I looked at the poll that I actually do like ELO, I'm still going to go Arby's curly fries.
All right. Well, let me get in here with you on this. Bozo's Grand Prize game was a staple for me. I would watch the Bozo show in the morning before I went to school on WGN when we got cable. And so, Bozo would always come out and he would say, "It's time for Bozo's Grand Prize game." And those fucking kids in the audience would just lose their shit.
Like, how old were you when this?
It was like the Price is Right for children, basically.
Yeah, but how old were you when this was going on? Because I remember when we had cable and I had a TV, every morning I'd get ready for school super quick and then lay back down and watch Sports Center. So I can't believe you weren't watching Sports Center. It was when I
was in college, Rod. I was 26, 27. Like junior high, I was probably like 12 or 13.
Oh, see, I was watching Sports Center. I was watching Sports Center in the morning.
They would have one boy and one girl. And I want to say that like 13 was like the oldest you could be, but it could be like anybody from like
Did you dream of being on the show?
To like 12 or 13. Listen, I often wondered how I would do. I will say that. I often wondered that if I had the opportunity, because there were 6 buckets and the prizes would get progressively better every bucket you would get. And in the last bucket, there was a $100 bill and you would win a brand new Schwinn bicycle. So $100 and a new bike if you
was every day.
6 in a row. And this was every day. There would be one boy and one girl.
Okay.
I believe is how they would do it. So you'd have 2 kids. And so sometimes if it was a very little kid, they'd come up there and they'd shit the bed immediately. Almost everybody could get the first bucket. I did see kids miss the first bucket, but if they missed the first bucket, it was usually because they were tiny and Bozo would take mercy on them and make sure that they at least got the first one. But if you missed the second one, You know,
Get out.
that was
Leave.
it. Sorry.
Gone.
You had to take the walk of shame. Yeah. But so usually most kids would safely get through the first couple, and you would have a lot of kids that would they would screw up around either bucket 3 or 4. And it was only pretty rarely that you saw somebody go the distance and win the bike. But it was high excitement.
I mean, were you like on cloud 9 going to school the days that somebody got the 6th bucket?
Just living vicariously through their success.
Ricky, why are you in such a good
Just
mood?
getting a secondhand
Some
secondhand high off of knowing some kid.
Doug from Evanston got the 6th bucket today.
Yeah. He got the 6th, but now I believe that I can be great too. I'm going to do something great today. All right. So Steve Largent was awesome. Love me some Jim Zorn, later Dave Craig. But I remember the Zorn and Largent era. Arby's curly fries are great. My problem with the curly fries is I really just like the big, like the big springy ones that almost look like a Slinky.
Yeah.
It's just like 1/4 of the potato, and you pull it out, and you're just like, oh my God.
See how long
this
it is.
So good. Yeah. Once you eat like a few of those, you just end up with a lot of little crusty, shitty ones once you get about half done. I think Arby's curly fries for like the first half of the box are A+ experience. The second half of the box, you end up, they're not curly. They're just kind of
you got to shift your
crunchy.
thinking. You got to shift your thinking. You have to shift your thinking. Instead of thinking, why did the springy ones run out? You have to be like, okay, now I'm done with the springy ones, and now I get a whole different texture. I get little crispy ones.
Well,
like shift your thinking, dude.
All right. Reframe your brain is what you're saying. Right there. That's good advice, Ron. And then ELO, I do like me some ELO, definitely. Not one of my favorites, but certainly have always enjoyed ELO. For me here, I'm gonna, man, as much as I really like Steve Largent has never been there for me as often as Arby's curly fries. I'm riding the curly fry train today, Ron. Locking it in. We're about to find out. It never really matters what you or I think. It's the public, Super 70s Nation, decides these matters. We're about to find out. And look at
all
this.
in the 20s. Almost all in the 20s.
Another really good one.
Yeah.
Less than a 10% difference between curly fries and Bozo there.
I think we had a comeback victory yesterday. I got to check real quick.
That's what I was hearing.
Yeah, just keep
tell
talking.
us. Let's get that before we go to break.
Filler. Okay. Cherry Coke came back and won.
Cherry Coke, yeah. And who was leading? Who did?
NBA on NBC.
What was that horse race?
NBA on NBC.
Can you do it again? Can you give us one more round ball rock?
Today
on NBC, Clyde Drexler and the Portland Trailblazers face Alonzo Mourning and the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, I don't know. Something like that.
Cherry Coke.
All right, let's take it to a break. I feel like we just redefined broadcasting excellence. Somebody get this tape to the
Smithsonian
Museum of Broadcasting, yes, and get a second copy to the Smithsonian. Jared, get on that right now. And we're going to take it to a break right now. And when we come back, unbelievably, you're not going to fucking believe this. We've got even more great stuff. I don't know how we do it either, honestly. It's almost like David Blaine level, but I'm going to be asking Ronnie the question that I love to ask him. All kinds of good shit's going to be happening, and it will all happen straight ahead, right here, right after this, on the Ricky Cobb Show.
Football's finally back. So's the hard-hitting gridiron action on Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks and use code OUTKICK and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
And welcome back to the program, my friends, here on this Victory Tuesday in Chicago. And victories have been hard to come by for some of the best teams in the league this year, or at least they haven't come as easily as we might have expected. The Kansas City Chiefs had to beat the Detroit Lions just to claw their way back to 500. We saw the Bills lose to the Falcons. That's 2 losses in a row now for them. And so I don't know who exactly wants to do anything here. The Ravens, worst of all, the Baltimore Ravens. What odds could I have gotten before the season started that the Baltimore Ravens would have one win in the middle of October? And yet here we are. I tweeted this out just very recently on Super 70s. Yesterday, in fact, I believe, last night. I said, I'm beginning to consider what a Colts Buccaneers Super Bowl would feel like. Ronnie, the only 5-win teams in the league through week 6, Indianapolis Colts, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Who would have thunk that, Ricky? I mean, especially with the Colts, assuming that Anthony Richardson was going to be the quarterback at the beginning of the year. Now it's Danny Dimes.
Well, I didn't assume that.
Well, I know.
You
did not. You're on record.
I was on top of that one. If I had just said that I thought he was going to be an MVP candidate, I could have just ascended into heaven with that prediction. Yeah. Can we roll that? Can we run that prediction again? Can we just roll that when we come in and out of breaks every show? Me, Colin, Daniel
Blind
Jones.
squirrel, buddy.
I'd be just fine with that. Honestly, I would. Do you think either one of these teams are for real? For real? I'm not saying necessarily that they'll go to the Super Bowl, but I mean, are these 13-win teams?
Yeah. So, like the Buccaneers, I find interesting because, they're winning close games, and that feels good that they're winning close games. But last year, the Chiefs were winning close games, and that felt bad. Like, what's wrong with them? So it's kind of interesting when you look at the perspective and the context of each teams. But I mean, Buccaneers Colts is not a crazy thought at this point. Like, who knows, man? I will tell you after. I know we're going to go over our picks, dude. I don't know shit about the NFL in terms of who's good and who's not good.
Well, neither do I.
My point is, I don't think anybody
does.
I don't think anybody.
Our record. I won't spoil it, but our records sort of perfectly indicate the fact that nobody knows anything about the NFL, at least at this time. Listen, Baker Mayfield, I don't want to just sit here and extol his virtues show after show.
He's just a dog.
But that run that he made on 3rd and 14, whatever it is, I mean, he is a tough son of a bitch. He is a winner. As I said, I was slow to catch on to it, but you know what? So was the entire NFL.
Absolutely.
Because there were other teams that had him and let him get away. And we've seen, again, one thing we've seen, Darnold, Mayfield, Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, it really is a situation sometimes where when you see a young quarterback come into the league and he struggles, well, wait a minute. It could be the system. It could be the
Justin
coaching
Fields
he's getting or not getting.
Justin Fields put him in that group.
Remember when Justin Fields was getting MVP buzz?
Oh my God, he's so bad, dude. He's so
I
bad.
Tell you, I was right about Daniel Jones and I was right about Justin Fields. Hey man, we should go back and get a super cut of all of our disagreements from back when you still believed in him, because that would be incredibly satisfying for me to watch.
Except I'm not going to fight you on it now. I'm just going to hand raised. I was wrong.
On the other hand, you have been right about a lot of really important things. I'm right about shit that doesn't matter. Things that are really significant that aren't a part of this show. You always outthink me. That's why it's the number of times, think about it. In the history of, you really think about, I don't know what this says about me, but in the history of our friendship, advice has been sought probably 380 times.
Yep.
And I would say at least 379 of them have been me going to you for advice, because you look at me and you're just well, I'm not asking that motherfucker what to do. You call Ryan or Ed in Utah when you need advice. I'm just your fun friend. I'm not your advice friend, and for good reason.
You're my project.
Ronnie,
You're my project.
It's going well too. I think, it's going well right now. You're doing, I'm sort of like your Frankenstein's monster. You're just trying to teach me how to, fire, Let's talk about Baltimore. One win, Lamar, they got to have Lamar back. They got to buy.
He's supposedly coming back after the bye.
He's got to come back after the bye. Okay, let's do the math here. They're 1-5. And if you look at the league going back to 1990, as this tweet here from the NFL on CBS indicates, only 1.8% of teams that have begun the year 1-5 have gone on to make the playoffs. Now, granted, they've got one small advantage here. They've got an extra game to play with than most of those seasons since 1990, but it is going to be tough sledding. 11 games left to go, Ronnie. I know you've got their schedule. Let's take a quick look into our crystal ball and see how many games we think they realistically can win.
I see 4 for sure losses, okay? They play the Steelers twice. They play the Packers.
Well, okay. They could win both of those.
I mean, they could, but their defense is
the Steelers aren't that fucking great. I'll give them 1-1.
Okay.
Go ahead. What else do they have?
Packers, and it's at the Packers, so they'll lose that at the Packers.
Probably that's a loss.
Patriots are playing some seriously good football right now, and they're going to just keep getting
Where's it
better.
at?
It's in Baltimore.
So they got to have that one. They'll win that one.
And then
I'm just making my tally. Feel free to disagree.
Bengals, Jets, Browns, Vikings, Dolphins.
Win.
And then against your Bears.
Dolphins.
Your Bears coming off the bye week.
I'll give them 1-1. I think they can go. I've only got 10 games here. I only count 10, Ron. But I've got them 7-3 in those 10. I think it's going to be tough to win more than 9 games.
Yeah, but even then, that makes them 8. That makes them 8 and 9. Like you're not in the playoffs at 8 and 9.
Well, they could go 9 and 8 if they win 8 more games. They have 1. So if they go 8-3 the rest of the way, they would finish 9 and 8.
Yeah, they've done nothing this year to make you think that that's going to happen, other than their schedule is super weak.
Here's my prediction. They will make the playoffs.
Okay.
All right. Come back and shame me later. And I may get shamed right now.
Well, do you want to make that a tiebreaker?
To get shamed possibly.
Hey, let's make that a tiebreaker on our picks. All right. So if we finish,
that's not going to be the tiebreaker. That's a long shot, Ron. A tiebreaker should be like fair. I'm going out on a fucking limb.
Well, anybody can go out on a limb and say something preposterous. Ricky, you're going to be the president of the United States someday. I said it here first today.
Lord. Well, I fucking hope not. Let's play a little game that I like to call Who Am I? Shall we? All right. We haven't done this in a while. I hope that I don't have too many layers of rust, but we take a Major League Baseball player, NFL player, NBA player, and I attempt to ascertain their identity only looking at the back of their baseball card, essentially, seeing their statistics and who they played for. So, oh, dear God. This 68 came up with the Yankees, played for the Royals in 69 and 70, Milwaukee 71 to 73. This is fucking cruel. 74 and 75. I don't think I've ever missed a baseball one, but I believe that you probably have just done me. Give me a second here.
Not a lot of home runs, Ricky.
With the Dodgers. This is good walk to strikeout ratio.
Shortstop. You think
so?
It's a shortstop?
This is a very likely a middle infielder. Let's just think about this. Career over in 76. See, that's early. I didn't start, collecting baseball cards until 78. So this one is kind of getting slipped in on me. Man, that is a fucking tough one. I think this is the first time that I'm getting skunked. I don't know this one. Go ahead, show me. Ellie Rodriguez. Well,
Have you
there
heard of him?
I have heard of him. Yes.
Okay.
I believe he and Bill Lee had a confrontation one time, perhaps in the Winter League somewhere, if I recall correctly from Bill Lee's autobiography, The Wrong Stuff. But Ellie Rodriguez, boy, we're going obscure now. All right, so I believe that's the first baseball.
Dude, it's the only way they can. It's the only way they can get you, Ricky.
Can I get the Price is Right loser horn here today? Okay, let me try to redeem it with the next two. NBA. Okay, we're going NBA second. Lakers. That's Norm Nixon, the predecessor to Magic Johnson as the point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers there. All right. I normally don't, basketball's my iffy one, so let me see if I can pull out a Meatloaf 2 out of 3 ain't bad here by getting the NFL one. All right. 88-93 Washington quarterback. Then went to Cleveland, St. Louis, and God, that's a hell of a weird career trajectory there, isn't it? But I believe, am I wrong to say that that's the Super Bowl winner, Mark Rippon? It is. All right. Well, what do you know, Ron? I miss baseball. My go-to, but I got the other two. So I'm still semi on the spectrum today.
You're still impressive.
Only mildly on the spectrum. The meds must be working today, Ron. I don't know what to tell you other than, what the fuck, Ron?
Someone in Clearwater, Florida, just recently called the police because there was a snake on their car. It was like on the hood of the car, and they needed help getting it off. And I can tell you, I would have to get a new car. Look at this, dude. A 5-foot boa constrictor on top of their car.
What the fuck? How did it get up there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Snaked its way up the side there?
But it's just one of those things I just feel like I would have no confidence that there wasn't snakes in my car. And
did they send the cops from a Disney TV show, Ron? Why was it 2 17-year-old girls that were sent to the scene?
Now, to be fair, that was a really... Can you guys freeze it on the car? Right there. Can you freeze that? That's a shitty car. Look at the rust on that thing. So, I guess maybe it was time to get rid of that car anyway. But yeah, if that snake's on my car, I have no confidence that there's not other snakes like in my car. I could never drive that car again.
Well, see, that's what you get for living in Florida. You know what I mean? It's like Oklahoma, you get tornadoes. Florida, you get snakes and meth heads and
snakes and meth heads.
Yeah.
Snakes and meth heads.
What the fuck else is going on, Ron?
So speaking of places that are synonymous with snakes and other critters, Australia, we're going to go down to Australia. It has nothing to do with snakes and critters, but so there's a mom, she's about 5'6", just a regular sized woman. And there's some pictures of her and her kid, and people are claiming that it's AI. This kid's 19 months old. So I Googled what's the average weight of a 19-month-old boy, and it's right around 24 to 25 pounds. This kid is 33 pounds. 33 pounds.
Is his name Major?
I don't know. A year and a half old, dude. He's a year and a half old, and he was 33 pounds. And unfortunately, we have to blur his face because of YouTube rules.
Going on.
Yeah. 33 pounds. Dude, 33 pounds.
He's enormous. What do you think would happen if he fought like an 80-year-old woman in a wheelchair, Ron? Do you think he could take her?
Yeah, I think so. I don't even think he could. I think it could be an 80-year-old woman not in a wheelchair. I think he could take her.
Yeah, he's got a low center of gravity because, like, if you just get her off her feet, broken hip, probably.
So do you remember? So
it's been
a couple years for me, and it's been a little bit less for you. But do you remember when you would hold your daughters, and you'd be walking around, and your back gets legitimately tired, right? Like you're holding your kid, and
yes,
I mean they're probably 18, 19 pounds. Because a year and a half year old boy, he's still going to want his mom to hold him. Hey. How does she do it?
Gene Cobb is 20 pounds. I pick up Gene Cobb almost every day, and he's 20.
Yeah, and you get tired at a certain point. Your back starts to ache.
Well, yeah, you do. Yeah.
We need to get Gene on the show sometime.
Let's go to poll replies.
Get Gene on the
that's a good idea.
And I can get Carmen. We'll have a pet day.
Gene is not allowed in the room that I film in.
Oh, because of allergies.
I'm moving next month.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll have. I'll have Carmen. I'll have Carmen on. I'll have Carmen on, and you can have Gene on.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get.
We'll
Gene.
have a pet theme day.
In my lap. So
we'll do a pet theme day.
I'll just set Gene here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Carmen's super quiet. Yeah, Carmen's so quiet. We'll do a pet theme day. That'll be awesome.
Gene will probably be talking. So. Oh, here we go. Scott says, "How can anyone not vote for this? Look at that."
Okay, hold this real quick, Ricky.
You know?
How the hell could you not get that 6th? That looks so easy.
Well, I mean, it looks easy when you're looking at it on television, but
I guess if you're a 5-year-old
child,
if you're a 5-year-old girl,
you're a child and you're a 5-year-old girl, you're standing
the bright lights,
to Bozo,
and there's a fucking clown staring at you.
Yeah. There's 200 kids right behind you watching your every move. Listen, as a guy who threw out a first pitch at a major league ball game, I understand what happens to the central nervous system because it was nothing like all the practice pitches.
A little sphincter tightening.
You could throw them out the window, baby. When I got out there on the mound, my body decided it was going to do its own thing. Landon Nolan says only Mrs. Bozo knew of and got the grandest prize of all. Hey now. Jay says Steve Largent every damn time. Look at that uniform. Look at that helmet. Beautiful. Jay the Epitomizer says you had me at Steve Largent, and Chasing Hardware says number 80, not even close. Dude had a strange magic. Do. I used to sing Strange. You want me to ruin the song Strange Magic for people? I went through a period of time where whenever I would hear Strange Magic, I would sing Strained My Dick because it sounds like that.
Yeah.
Listen to it and see if you don't agree, Ron.
Put those numbers back up. We legitimately have a 3-way race that we cannot call until tomorrow. Look at that.
We've got a 3-way here. It's like a party at the Kinslow residence. Take a look at this. I'm making basically the last 5 minutes have all been inside jokes for my girlfriend. I hope that America is enjoying it as much as she must be. Look, Arby's is going to win unless Steve Largent is able to mount a comeback. I don't think ELO is capable. Largent might be. You get a large account.
Well, Seattle hasn't woken up yet. Seattle hasn't woken up yet.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Well, there you go. Seattle's preoccupied with whipping that Blue Jay ass. Is what's going on. Yeah, let's go to our pick recaps here, Ronnie, and take a look at how we did this weekend.
Let's end the show. Thank you, everybody in Nashville.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it.
You can listen. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify. All right, let's tee it high and let it fly tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.
Well, you're 12-12. You're still at a very respectable 500, Ron.
Yeah, but I was 1-3 last week.
Well, it happens. It happens. All right, let's go ahead and see how I did so that the eyes of the world are not shaming Ronnie T-shirts any longer. I went 3-1, and my loss was also one of your losses.
Yep.
I looked at that as a little bit of a trap. I didn't pick them at first, and then I settled on them. The Cardinals gave it a good scrap with the backup quarterback after the debacle that happened in Phoenix week 5, but felt very confident about the Steelers. They took care of business. I felt that Joe Flacco would show up and play some competent quarterback.
He did in the second half.
That's what prone to do, and he did what needed to be done for them to stay within that crazy 14.5 spread. And then my Bears, I believe I said that I thought they had a chance to not only cover, but also win, and they did just that. So I now join you at 500 as I have surfaced like Sarah McLachlan back in the late 90s. And now I'll have a chance to try to build on it and get above 500 next week, Ron. That's how you do it. You got to get out of the hole before you can move on.
That's what they say. You know your Hilltoppers are playing tonight, Ricky.
Ron.
You know your Hilltoppers are playing.
We're looking for win number 6. Who
Tuesday
are we
night
playing?
Game. The whole nation's going to be watching.
Who are we playing?
Florida International.
All right. Well, we're going to give them an international beating tonight. It's my prediction. All right. Thank you, Ronnie, for outstanding work as always. We'll be submitting you for Emmy consideration based on this one to add to your collection. My thanks as well to Adam and Molly in Nashville, to P.A. Jared, who's just simply P. Jared today. We'll be welcoming Tim back to the show tomorrow. But most of all, I thank you, you sweet bastards, because without you, there is no show, there is no me, there is no Super 70 Sports, and I love you, and I appreciate you to no end. You can find us, as always, at FoxNationOutkick.com and on YouTube at The Ricky Cobb Show. That is our channel. Make your way over there and subscribe, won't you? You can find us in podcast form on Spotify and Apple, and we're also out there on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course X, where you will find me at Super 70 Sports. Drop by later and see what I'm doing, and let's make a deal. Once again, Ronnie, as you said just a few moments ago, to tee it high and let it fly tomorrow when we will have another episode of this shit show, also known as The Ricky Cobb Show.